All right. So, we're going to do a quick recap that's going to catch us up to where we are currently in the game. The Amber Falls had trekked through the void trying to catch up to an unknown ship that might have kidnapped the princess. And things have definitely seemed to be following along the lines that they are on the trail. They have arrived at a hold some distance away from their port of origin, and they've fought some strange creatures along the way and dealt with some pretty tense situations. And we've arrived at this hold, and through some interrogation of who would be described as not locals, as well as speaking with a gossip woman about some of the things she might have seen.
She's now known as the Merchant of Secrets.
The Merchant of Secrets? Wow. The Merchant of Secrets. They have found out that the captain and some of the crew of the ship they were following have gone into an abandoned mine on this hold. And so we left Kordrog and Thomas and Captain Harris as they were about to venture across the hold and go into the mines and they would get there because there is no gravity, they would leap across this empty expanse, across this open crater, and head toward the mine. And that's where we pick up from.
So, as you all begin to make the leap across, or the walk across, as everybody still calls it, because it's a common
Got
word.
legs for walking.
Yeah, you know. The captain speaks up. Since we've got a walk ahead of us, I can tell you more about Fern. Since I was going to tell you that story anyway.
Please do.
Yeah.
I'm very interested.
More about Fern.
Mm-hmm. So, Elims, as you all know, are connected to their elemental bloodlines. But I don't think I've met anyone who was so attuned to its nature as she is. Let me tell you about the day I decided that she was going to be our master gunner. She worked with Gaz when he rebuilt the Amber Falls in Drydock. When he was finished, the Amber Falls was more of a glorified yacht, a shadow of the warship that she used to be. There were some holdouts from her battle days, though. 2 light cannons encrusted with iron rust, 2 powder kegs, and a pile of 5-pound shot that was more oblong than round at that point. So, at the time, we weren't looking for crew trained in combat. We had a handful of veterans from the war, Arthur among them, of course, but nothing like how it would have been if she'd been a true battleship. So I remember it well. The skies were powdered turquoise, and in the far distance, it blended with the deep amethyst of the edge. The warm wind filled the canvas as we sailed at Princess Amber's pleasure. She was with us that day. Our plan was to make our way up the coast to anchor in the Bay of Skies for stargazing that evening. The edge above that bay is thin enough that you can make out the swirling maroon and honey-colored clouds of the Lycanian Nebula with a simple telescope. So, we were about 5 hours out of port when Sun Wu, as you both know, is our lookout on top. He spotted 2 sloops that looked like they were coming out of a rocky inlet as we passed by. They flew no flags, and we thought them fishing boats at first. It was only when Arthur looked through his own spyglass that we discovered the truth of things. He recognized those dark oaken ships as vessels that served on the losing side of the Gerlosh uprising. Dun, dun, dun. Pause for dramatic effect.
Please tell me Captain Harris actually says that in person.
I mean,
pause for dramatic effect. And then I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I had hoped that they were simply repurposed, as the Amber Falls has been. Then we saw the black flag of Gerlash rise, and I ordered full sails. I knew we would be able to outrun them. Our ship was built for speed. And one of the sloops did fall behind quickly, becoming a cream speck in the horizon. The other was closing the distance, though, cutting through the deep indigo waves faster than it should have been able to move. When the vessel was close enough, Arthur confirmed the worst.
Aye, sir. They're using magic to catch up with us. They're going to overtake us in less than a few minutes.
At this point, as I'm sure you can imagine, Captain Harris does a really great impression of Arthur, by the way, just so you know.
Spot on!
At this point, as I'm sure you can imagine, we needed a plan. Our priority was the safety of the princess. If a group of Gerlash holdouts managed to get the princess, I'm sure you can understand the repercussions well enough by this point. And he makes a motion to, like, where you guys are headed.
Yeah. Clearly.
The other crew was though the crew was underarmed and undertrained, Arthur and the other veterans were quickly working to prepare them for a fight. That's when Fern and Gaz approached me. At the time, I had not learned her unspoken language, so Gaz had to translate. Fern told me that she could scare them off with the cannons. You know, the old, rusted cannons with questionable powder and degraded shot. I was skeptical. But, as you can imagine, I'd rather keep the sloop as far away as possible. Especially with a mage aboard, a close quarters fight would probably be one that we would have lost. So I gave the order. Arthur and Gaz moved the cannons to the top deck. Fern was a glowing ember. Her enthusiasm radiated from her like the heat from a fire. As Gaz prepped the powder, she burned away the rust from the cannons with a brush of her hand. As they loaded the shot, her amber eyes shone golden with the elemental flame as she instructed on the positioning of the cannons. Then we waited. Another pause for dramatic effect. Even though it was short, it felt like a minute had passed every single heartbeat. Then, without so much of a warning, Fern's hands became living torches as she slammed them down on the wicks. The explosion rocked the ship. Gunpowder smoke filled the air. As it cleared, the front of one of the cannons was missing. Apparently age caught up with it, and the shot rendered it unusable. Both shots landed about 10 meters in front of the advancing sloop, though. She'd sent them a warning, but they didn't pay attention to it. With one working cannon, they were quick to reload and fire in about 2 minutes. This shot crossed their bow, giving a glancing blow to the hull. As Gaz and Arthur loaded the cannon again, Fern had a stroke of genius. She added powder to the broken cannon. At first, I thought she was going to try to fire a shot.
What did she shoot?
Instead, she shot nothing. She lit the powder, creating the impression of cannon fire. It's practically unheard of to reload a single cannon in less than a minute, let alone seconds. Fern managed to fire 2 blanks for every real shot. Every ball hit the sloop, and as it advanced, they did more damage. The gray smoke of the cannons turned the skies a slate blue. After our 6th volley, the vessel seemed to slow. After the 8th, they turned at last, giving up. It was a tense time. As they left our view, we changed course to breach the edge, traveling through the void to return back to port. We didn't want to risk them coming back with reinforcements to attack us again. I have no doubt that Fern's skills and quick thinking saved us that day. If it weren't for her, I don't think any of us would be here. After conferring with the princess, we determined that the Amber Falls would need to have the defenses necessary to repel future aggressors. When we reached port, we offered Fern the position of Master Gunner. She reacted as you'd imagine.
Excitedly?
Ecstatic?
Explosively.
Oh, there you go. That's the correct term.
So I offer Fern a bit of leeway in her choices. She's very good at what she does, and her skills have made her an integral part of the crew. Much like how you're becoming, Thomas.
Well, I don't normally, set fire to gunpowder barrels, but,
But you do use magic to make the ship go faster.
I do when it's necessary.
Hopefully the captain already knew about that.
Yeah.
I would assure you that his face does not change to any level of shock when you say that. He's very affirmed that he knows everything that goes on the ship. Who's been hurt, where the cat's at, who's sleeping with who. He knows all these things. Or at least tries to know all these things.
None of our secrets are safe.
No.
I
mean, it is always important to know.
Oh my god, does he know Thomas's break times where he just reads smut instead of doing his work?
I will let you ponder that.
Great.
And for no apparent reason, Thomas blushes.
I think if he mentioned, he's like, "Oh, I know everything," Thomas will just go, "Fuck." I swear it was working. I just needed a break. You can't stack potatoes for so long and not want to read something.
Don't blame the potatoes, Thomas.
It's not their fault.
It's an amazing book.
I imagine that Thomas will just prop up a book on the recipe stand.
Oh yeah, totally. Just magically flip the page. Yeah. Oh my god, that's genius.
No wonder Cookie loves you coming to work in the kitchens. Maybe
she doesn't mind it either.
No, maybe you read it out loud.
Dude, he would own that so much. He'd change his voice, he'd use voices. Oh, he'd get into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'd be Cookie's friend at that point.
Cookie's special friend.
Cookie's special friend.
Ooh.
Yes.
Watch out now.
1, wrong gender. 2, no.
Don't worry, Thomas, I won't hurt you.
Yeah, no.
Man, that voice came out so... That's what rum's good for.
Rum. It helps us voice actors.
My mustache ball?
Of course you can, my love. There was no dice in it when I found it, though.
As I say, you have to show it after just saying mustache bowl.
That's all.
So, your short walk across the hold drifts you through the open space, the open void that hovers above the town. You get to see the Amber Falls to one background and to the other, the city below you.
We have to take a quick stop. Guys, can you pull up your Audacity, please?
Ooh, good call.
So I apologize for interrupting, but this is an extremely important interruption.
We have to record this.
Because I can always record the story again.
Yeah.
But I'd rather not do anything else.
We should have a checklist like pilots.
Damn it, it did the thing.
We should, and we will.
I just started it. I'm sorry. Do you want me to do the countdown? I can turn it off if you want. I had a hiccup.
Yeah, go ahead and stop the recording.
Oh, okay.
But don't shut it down. Keep Audacity up.
All right, I'm ready when you guys are.
When I say 3.
On 3.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Awesome job, guys.
Let me make sure that I got this volume adjusted correctly. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm good.
Awesome.
Oh, actually, let's do a quick 5-second silence starting now. Okay, thank you.
Woot.
That was longer than 5 seconds, I feel.
I err on the side of caution with my
That's
time.
fair.
It was just awkward because I thought Max was frozen.
Just that one side, or him himself just had a malfunction.
Yeah,
Right.
he was frozen.
3, no,
Everything
4.
else.
He said, what is your favorite number?
Ooh, my favorite number is
Monty Python.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is 3. Somewhere between 3 and 5,
But not quite
Would
4.
that
but not quite.
would
4.
that count for my Monty Python? Would that count? Like if you were like, it's somewhere between 3 and 5, like you're not wrong. Like it's not, an exact number.
42. That's a very good number.
Isn't that the answer to everything?
Yes.
Yes. Do you know why?
It's been a long time since I've read and seen the movie or book, so.
Okay, well, he was a huge computer junkie. 42 is the code for asterisk. Asterisk in coding, or for file names and stuff like that, means whatever you want it to be.
Oh, that's cute. That's clever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't it? So clever.
No.
Welcome to Shatter Isles, where we talk about facts of random things.
Facts of life.
Birds and the bees, the numbers and the trees.
All right, we've got our recording stuff. We're good to go, and let's pick it back up.
Do it again. Your walk across the open space, the void, from one side of the hold to the next. To one side, it's dwarfed by the Amber Falls and the end of the Void Dock. To the other side, it is the hold city itself, the streets, the buildings, the people must... And you're not by yourself. So, like, the three of you are drifting across as you've pushed. Your characters are smart enough to know that there are several ways in which you can do this. You can pull yourself down and squat as hard as you can, and then push off as hard as you can and rocket to the other side.
I feel like that'll just look really weird.
No, you might look weird, but you'd have like this, superhero flying thing as you go shooting across, and you can kind of like move around and stuff, and it can help slow you down.
So another way that people get across that you're seeing is that they have these little like glass bottles, like apothecary bottles, and you'll see every once in a while somebody who's kind of drifting slowly along, through an intersection, if you will. Will take one of the glass bottles out, pop the top off of it, and then they get this jet of what looks like watery bubbles that will propel them in the direction that they're looking to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like bag of winds.
Yeah.
But bottles. That's fantastic.
But bottles.
So I mean, the dwarves have a special recipe to help them get across large expanses without gravity. It's beans and cabbage.
It's Wednesday morning, so they're going to have the Tuesday taco night racing games.
Great.
But you could launch yourself really hard across that opening. The problem is once you get to the other side, slowing down. Although the void is not empty, you're not like an hour outer space. There's a vacuum, and so once you have momentum, you just keep going. In the void, you will slow down after a little while, but if you're just balls to the wall flying at something, you're gonna hit it. It's gonna hurt. So you guys took a gentle jump that propelled you across this opening, and the three of you had that moment where the captain regaled you on Fern's story.
Were we just floating when he was telling us that?
Yep, you were just floating across the opening as he was having that discussion. And as you're getting close to the other side, it just takes a little bit of finagling and wiggling to turn around and point your feet toward the ground as you begin directing and drifting toward the other side of the hold, in which you can see the ground, objects in which to grab a hold of. And there are some places there are like, I wouldn't say it's a tree, but it's a pole that has branches that come off it so that you shoot past it and you try to grab a hold of the pole or one of the branches so that you don't just bounce off and head back out into the void.
Are there like void police in a... I guess this is a fairly large city. Or like...
Population about 350.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay.
It's very
So
much
small city.
it's very much a mining colony. So it's that's
Yeah.
pretty much there's a lot of places to get their mining stuff, 2 places to buy anything else, and 1 bar that everybody goes to.
Everybody.
So are there like not void police, but like void lifeguards that would be on standby if someone got stuck? That's awesome.
Oh, really?
There
Oh.
are. So, like,
It's a volunteer kind of thing in a lot of
Yeah.
places. Especially in a place so small like this. It would, people would generally kind of have that community sense where, if somebody's stuck, then they can, call out for a hand.
Yeah, I would imagine like a small
Or a butt
small
bottle.
colony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine a small colony would just be like, let's just give them a helping hand. I feel like bigger cities like this would have lifeguards on standby.
So we're
With
going to
the
make
skills of,
a
like,
small
lassoing.
scenario that kind of drifts away. Let's say for whatever reason you found yourself 100, 200 feet above the city. It stopped dead. You grab your coattails and you start flapping like a stupid bird, and you will slowly but surely start moving toward the isle itself.
Towards something.
Towards something. You will.
Great.
Second thing, most people dress in light colors. Whites, bright blues, and yellows. Why? Because if you're floating around away from those dark gray rocks and stuff, you'll get noticed. Hey, what's that over there?
Yeah.
That's why John's character was able to even notice Fern drifting about, because she's wearing bright colors.
Yep. Like, safety yellow is a thing.
Huge.
It's the fashion.
Popular colors.
Yeah.
Neon.
Yeah.
You know where they get that dye from? They get
Mm.
Some jellyfish anus or something.
Yeah, that's one. That's one of the places.
Sounds
they
like a
get.
really great place.
Yep.
I mean, I was thinking of like, I don't know, void flowers or berries or stardust or some clever thing.
So
not
there's
just
they
jelly.
get it from like various botanicals and fauna that are specifically in like coral reefs, like
Yeah.
basically where large chunks of asteroids kind of float together, so there can be a nice ecosystem there. And people will go specifically and farm those for materials to make these dyes that people really desperately need, so they can be seen in case of the worst.
On the Amber Falls, they have lanterns. Lots and lots of lanterns. They even have lanterns that project a really powerful beam. Man, I can't remember what it was called.
A hooded lantern?
No, it was something
A
Lauren.
spotlight?
Lauren.
Oh yeah,
Lauren
she
told us
did.
about.
She told us about
Is
that.
it a xenon lantern?
No,
Is it a clap on, clap off lantern?
no. But they use a lot of lights because you want to be able to see the things that are around you and shine light on them. A ship that's using black sails and the entire ship has been painted black will not be seen in the void, and that can be dangerous
Unless
because
they pass by, unless they're backlit by something. Yeah.
you can't see them. Things that get really far away definitely are harder to see, no matter what color they are. But to avoid hit, could you imagine? Like, you're just a giant ship, and somebody's like, ha ha ha. And a smaller ship, they painted their sails black, their boat black. Like, no one can see us. And a giant ship just runs you over because they can't see you. They're not going to stop. What did we hit?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's like headlights
A
for
speed
cars.
bump.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, people that drive when it's dark or rainy, turn on your fucking lights.
There's
Us mopeds are tiny. Turn on
Yeah.
your lights.
Yeah, public service announcement. Turn on
Yeah.
your headlights before
Yeah.
dusk and after, and leave them on after dawn.
Or just
I mean-
get the daytime running lights, and they're just on all the
Yeah,
time.
get the daytime running lights.
Some of us don't have those.
Yeah,
because
some
we
of us
buy
aren't
old
rich.
cars. Some of us ain't fancy like them.
Man, now I
I mean, I'm just telling the truth.
I'm sorry.
You're daytime running lamp rich.
I guess so. Ah, there it is. Fresnel lamp.
Ah, yeah, Fresno.
So, a Fresnel.
Fresno?
Yeah.
Fresnel.
Yeah. FRESCNEL.
Fresnel lamp.
Fresno.
Yeah.
Yeah, it uses a special magnifying glass to create a concentrated beam of light that goes a lot farther. And it's really good for, like, looking at stuff. Anyways, those the ships use Fresnel lamps with covers on them to send messages from great distance.
Yeah, see? There you go. First one.
So, you guys reposition yourself on your transit across the opening and come to a light. It is in... there are trees that you guys are aiming for, or catching posts that you grab a hold and pull yourself to the ground. Right now, you are about 150 yards away from the opening of the mine, and there are a lot of grindstone paths in the city, but little to none lead into the mine's opening. You have come over here specifically because the Master of Secrets, no, the Merchant of Secrets.
The Merchant of Secrets, or the Gossip Queen, whichever one you want to choose.
Has directed you, saying that she did see the crew of the ship. She has seen the captain, or at least what you're talking about, and he was playing with some barrels, right?
No, they had a little halfling girl with them.
Oh, the halfling. They had a halfling girl with them.
I mean, failing girl.
Failing girl. Words
mean things.
And so that's why you were directed over here. Mm-hmm. And so here we are, 150 yards away from the opening of the mines. You are standing amongst the catching posts, as well as nearby there seems to be some houses, a general store, and a place nearby has a sign that looks like it might be a property office. And words on one of the windows say, purchase your stake here.
So, I want to impress the captain. Can I do an acrobatics check to do a little somersault around one of the poles or the branches, and then a superhero landing on a grindstone pathway?
Hell yeah!
I believe that's acrobatics.
Yeah, he's got that.
I hope I impress the captain with an 11.
Yes. You're not doing anything particularly too hard, and it's not something he's going to try, so yeah, that's kind of impressive.
Oh, well done!
I am not gonna impress the captain, even though I would like to. I'm not gonna roll for it or anything, but I'm gonna say Thomas's landing is very clumsily, and he, after just falling down on the grindstone, he gets up and he brushes off his cloak and then sees Kordrog do this and goes, great.
I look back at Thomas. You nailed it.
Thank you. Thanks.
The captain finds his footing somewhat as an experienced person, but still stumbles a little bit.
Does a little stutter step and then starts walking
yes.
Nobody saw it.
Yes. Or perhaps maybe he's trying to have some solidarity with his friend Thomas.
So, looking about the area where you're at, there is a lot of foot traffic that's visible. The dust is picked up in this area, and you can see from where you're at the mine openings, which are a distance away, look active. You can see that there are a group of people coming out, and they have a large bin of some type that is being pulled by some winged... man, I would describe it as a mutant-looking butterfly that's kind of fleshy in appearance, or more like a moth that is kind of pulling this large cart out from the mine. And the people are hanging on to it as it drifts, and somebody above it is navigating this strange conveyance as they seem to be heading toward a nearby repository of some type. These definitely look like miners. They're rather filthy looking individuals. So what would you guys like to do?
So we're headed for the abandoned mine, right? Not
yes.
Okay.
She had told you when you go into the mine, it is to the left and then to the left again.
Do we know why this mine is abandoned?
They ran out of stuff.
Okay. It's not there was a dragon inside. Okay. I wanted to make sure we were somewhat safe.
Unearthed an ancient evil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as far
exactly.
as anyone can tell you, that mine was exhausted.
At least a decade ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, what
So it's just
awesome music
rocks
can
now.
I find?
Yeah, they're letting it rest because it was tired.
What is this one?
So excited. I'm right there with you, Rocks. I understand.
Okay. I don't know that we need to should we question the town folk at all?
If you feel like it.
Yeah.
I think we know what we're doing. The only thing that I would ask them is if they've seen anything suspicious go in or out of the abandoned mine.
Yeah. We could ask the miners that just came out.
Do they look like they're working?
Yeah, it looks like they're carrying a cargo from the mine.
Thomas would mention, I really don't want to bother somebody that's working.
There are multiple buildings in the area that might harbor or have people in there that might have a point of view on the actual opening of the mine. The property appraisers or the stake claimers office, the property office, has its front facing mostly to the opening of the mine. There seems to be a tower right on the inside that might be manned. So there's a possibility of wandering around and looking for somebody who has eyes on the opening to see if, hey, you seen anything crazy? You know anything about this? You know, if you want to ask some general more questions now that you're closer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if anybody knows everything, it's the tax collector.
You're not wrong.
That is very smart, Kordrog, the captain says.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So you guys make your way over to the tax collector's office?
Yes.
Tax collecting is, of course, listed on the front door as well as an attorney and a, what do they call them?
I don't know if it would be a mediator instead of an attorney.
They're going to call themselves an attorney because people would recognize that, and mediator is like, a what?
Oh.
Yeah, so
A settler of disputes.
settler of disputes would be written on the front door, as well as a bone saw.
You can't use them big fancy words like lawyer.
Wait. Settler of disputes and bone saw
That is
is
correct.
written on the door. I feel like Thomas is gonna look at that and go, I don't think those two things match.
I mean, sometimes the dispute, you settle it with a bone saw.
One of these things is not like the others.
Right.
If you settle disputes with a bone saw, Kordrog, there's something very
Drifting
Very
over to the
wrong
building,
with
the door itself is open, and so it's just a hatchway that you can just drift on through. There seems to be no grindstones in the area, so everything's free floating. As you enter into the front area of this office, there is a desk, which is pretty much just a table with a bunch of stuff clipped to it, grindstones and whatnot, holding paper down. The room is dusty and dirty itself, as there is a cloud in here. There is a fan along one wall to help blow stuff out, but nobody seems to be manning it at this time. The dwarf sitting behind the table is just taking like an afternoon break or something. He's got a pipe out. He's smoking it. He's got his little void traveling sippy cup with him.
Oh, man. So as I float through the hatchway and see one of my dwarven brethren, I'm excited.
He sees you and also gets a smile on his face. Hey, brother, he will say to you.
Hello, master. What is it that, you do here? What is your profession?
What is my profession? Anything and everything that I can make money off of.
Versatile indeed.
Of course.
dangerous birds.
I'm an attorney. I help settle disputes. I can also splint injuries as well as pull splinters and a couple of other things. I have a diploma. He points at a piece of paper on the wall that seems faded from a lot of light shining on it. It's probably a couple of decades old, so he's probably been a while since he got his education, so it's kind of going to be hard to read what he actually got his education in. How can I help you today, brother? Oh, come on in. And he makes hand gestures to the Thomas and the captain.
Yeah, Thomas will follow. Kordrog right behind.
We need some information on some of your mines.
Of course. He points to a highly modified map along the wall with extra pieces of paper that have been tacked to it, either by nails or by gum, that draws out a slightly extensive view of the mines. You looking to stake a piece of property, brother?
Well, not particularly.
Oh, you should.
What?
This place is
What
rich with
potential?
minerals.
We heard of a shaft that we'd like to look at, and I'll drift over to the map and try and okay, so we go in and then we turn left, and I'll try and find the abandoned
It's
one.
very
and show it
easy, very easy to see. As you follow the map and what you would assume to be left and left, you come across a section of map which is dedicated and drawn out to encompass several other smaller tunnels and whatnot, and notes made along one side that says, "No longer in use."
What can you tell me about this one? And I'll tap that one that obviously says not in use.
He will drift over to the map and press himself against the wall to put his hand out to stop him next to the wall, look over at you to get kind of like eye contact down the length of the map. That one's no longer in use. It's dried up. It's empty.
I mean, is there anything that might be potentially useful?
Some bats have moved in there. I'm pretty sure there's some dangerous spots as well. We have a tendency to just ignore it. It's like this one. We don't go to... He points at the one. He's like, we don't go down this one very much. And those people who do wander down it, they have a tendency not to wander too far. Not too far in here, right around in here, there's some of those red blister funguses growing. And nobody wants to set those things off. And this one, and he points at a completely different line. He said, this one's also off bounds. Some people have said that there are giant spiders in there. And then he looks at another one and goes, this one's out of bounds too. And he's completely derailed off of what you're talking about. This one's off bounds because, well, it's not safe. We're still trying to fix it. But these, my brother, they are available. Here, we believe there might be some good, strong, warming stones, deposits. We have lots of and he's not stopping.
I look back at Thomas and the captain. I look back at the dwarf, and he's really selling me hard on these.
Yeah, he starts talking about warming stones and grindstones deposit, possibility that you know, and if you went to school like I went to school, and all dwarves go to school, silver is always found right alongside warming stones. And he's just laying it on thick. And that because you're a dwarf, he can give you a discount on some of this, and maybe even waive property taxes for a year or two.
Well... Yeah.
As this dwarf is rattling on and on and on and on, is there anything on his desk, or are there any other maps that are open, or anything that's prominent that sticks out?
So as far as other maps, there's a star chart that is on another wall. That one looks to be possibly more of a decoration than a in-use map, what this what is going on here, the living map of the mining tunnels versus the map that is pretty much as is all the time of the star charts. So you see that on the other side. You see that all of his he has a couple different stacks of paper, on top of which under which you see a very thick grindstone slab on the table, and then on top of each stack is another big heavy piece of grindstone, holding all of the papers down. That's your... And
clipboards.
See. Yeah.
I'm sure that the clipboard is something they would have invented because things float away. You need this.
How heavy are those? Could I just easily... stealthily move one of them so his papers go flying?
If you have a strength score of at least an 8.
How strong is Thomas? I'm good.
Only a 7.
Yeah, no, as he's talking, Thomas is just gonna float on over and just go, and take it off and just go, oh no, as it's flying everywhere. And then he'll try to set it down and go oh, I'm so clumsy. But he'll set the grindstone on the table just to get his attention.
Oh, now don't touch that paperwork. That's all in order. Oh, what are you doing? And he immediately pushes off from the wall and starts snatching pieces that are now drifting about the room. What are you doing? What are you... Oh, man. You should not touch a dwarf's desk. It's important. These things are in order.
Oh, well, now believe me, I know all about desk work. Actually, I'm very curious, and Thomas will, like, look at the papers floating around. This abandoned mine, does anybody go inside of it, like kids or, hooligans?
Yeah, and the captain will back up Thomas, like, has anyone else shown interest in this particular, exhausted mine?
All right. That's a diplomacy roll.
All right.
Oh, I can do that. I have diplomacy.
The captain will be able to aid you.
I'm
Sweet.
helping!
I need to
not.
open.
What did you get? I'm curious.
Remember, you can't fail in Pathfinder, so
okay.
that is a +2.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Oh, I get a +2 to my thing?
because of the captain assistance.
Oh, thank you.
Never mind. The captain trips
Oh.
and he points
crap,
to the
plus
wrong
2.
chest.
16.
Yes. Somebody else came by earlier yesterday, was asking questions. Fat, wall-eyed looking man being bothersome. But he didn't buy. He just threw a fit about everything. And look, are you interested in the abandoned mine? I mean, I'll sell it. It's not really valuable. Brother, you understand mineral worth here. There's nothing in there, just dirt and some rocks.
Well, so you've got me intrigued, though. If we did buy a mine, what kind of management programs are there? Because we're sailors. We can't be around. But it's always good to diversify your investments.
Diversifying your investments is worthwhile, and I'm pretty sure you could find someone here in Hold who would be more than happy to take care of your management proprieties. I mean, me personally as well. I would be glad to assist you. How much lucrative income, how much down payment would you have to put towards such a thing? And he's twirling his mustache at this time.
He strokes his beard, he jingles his purse. I've got about 5 bits on me.
Thomas is gonna give Kordrog this look like, we were just talking about this abandoned mine shaft, and you brought it back to business about mines that we don't even need. Like,
No, it's part of my plan. I'm shocking him into realizing he's not going to make a sale.
not.
5 bits. 5 bits. He, at this point, has organized most of his papers in a pile floating. He lets the rock go and immediately crashes down into his desk. 5 bits. Thank you so much for your time today, brother. It has been great to meet you. I'm sure your family is lovely. I have many important... And he walks over and he pushes upon the captain and then begins pushing upon Thomas toward the hatch, and then he moves over toward Kordrog, and he's giving you guys all a shove, and since it's generally a drift out the door kind of moment, unless you stop yourself, come again some other time when you've brought some money along with you. I really appreciate everything. Good to meet you. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, Thomas is gonna... He'll, like, put his hands on the doorway and stop himself from being pushed out. And he'll go, okay, I'll make you a deal. You tell me what's in that exhausted mine. If there is anyone else in there, I will look around, and if I like it, I will buy it off of you.
All right. Make a diplomacy roll. You got a 16 earlier. He's not happy that the 5 bits, so it's definitely gone back from being what's the one? It's friendly. Back to indifferent at this point in time because Kordrog's broke.
Yeah. Thank you, Kordrog. Thanks, best friend.
I have a 0 in diplomacy. I'm also poor, so...
Oh, no.
Secure as a bone saw.
I got a 9.
Yeah, the captain can't help at this point in time. No. He takes a stick and begins poking you in your wrists and arms to try to make you let go. No. Out. Get out.
Thomas just, like, as he's out, he's like, I didn't know dwarves could be so violent. I mean, I knew, but, like...
Kordrog, make a perception roll.
Ooh. Oh, I hope my bonus is decent.
I like how he just has a stick for poking people out.
It's
of
more
his
like a
office.
cane. It's more like a cane.
Okay.
22.
All right.
Nice.
So you guys are drifting away from the door, and Thomas says, "What did you just say, Thomas?"
I didn't know dwarves could be so violent.
Kordrog, you noticed that was not just a normal cane; that was a sword cane, and he was poking with the business end, but did not, cause the sword to pop out.
Yeah. Oh, it could have been worse for you, Thomas. Have a good day, sir.
He shakes his stick and then pulls the hatch door back.
Yeah, as Kordrog says that it could have been much worse, Thomas goes, I don't know, that's a lot of paper. And I know plenty of fire spells.
Now, Thomas. We've got the information that we need. Someone else has shown interest in the mine shaft. A fat, flat-eyed human.
Does that ring any bells to you?
That doesn't fit the description of any of the three that we were
No.
met in the bar.
No. Maybe he's their, captain.
Maybe.
Or their bosun.
That-
Bosuns are in
Or-
charge of a lot of those things.
Yes, but I don't know, that doesn't really sound like a bosun. Anyway, it could easily just be somebody who wants to make a house there or something for privacy. There's a lot of different ways. I say we just head to the mine.
The captain agrees and says, "First, we must make another arrangement." And he turns...
I do.
Yeah, he does. He turns to face the Amber Falls and takes a moment and the light,
Oh, yeah.
the candle, the message back to the Amber Falls
Yeah.
to tell them to go to the other side.
Oh, they were already being instructed to that's a good idea to do an extra one anyway, because they were sending a note over there.
Oh, that's right. They were sending the note.
So since it's been a little bit of time, the captain will take out his little mirror, and I believe they have lighters too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And lights it, lets it kind of drift in the space in
Nope.
front of him, and then you see him start like moving the mirror, like flashing in different speeds and stuff. Apparently, I don't know. Do any of you speak
Signal.
signal?
Nope.
'Cause that's what we call it.
Where do we write languages? Oh, no.
No.
For some reason.
So, the captain has lit a lighter and is now flashing a mirror around it, pointing in the direction of where the amber falls.
I'm just gonna let him do him.
It's a Morse code signal, Acid. So, but using flashes instead of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you had a flashlight and you were clicking it on and off. But in this day and age, they have to get creative.
Yeah, they don't have those kinds of fancy bits. So, so you see this go on. It takes another minute or two after he sends the message and then you see a flashing light coming back in response.
And you also see that riggers begin ascending into the lines, begin loosening the lines, climbing into the ship itself seems to become active with life. And from here, it's a rather amazing sight as you've always been on the ship to watch her start to change and grow. But now you're at a distance watching the Amber Falls, and it looks like they've already cast lines and they're pushing away from the Void Dock.
Yeah. Excellent.
We better get moving.
Excellent.
Yeah. Into the mines.
Right, into the mines we
Yeah.
go.
So he snatches his lighter out of the air, closes the lid, puts it back in his pocket. I'm ready for our adventure. He flashes a dashing smile because he's
Puts his hand on his
put his hand on the hilt of his fancy sword.
nice. Is he going to check, make sure his guns are loaded? His 2 guns.
No, he's very confident that
Very
they're all
confident.
loaded.
They're already loaded. Whip my hair.
Thomas is gonna keep his cool. And not
oh, right. Entrance into the mine. The mine entrance is, as you're approaching it, because there's no grindstones there, you guys have to at some point kick off and kind of like every once in a while touch the ground and kind of like really extended leaps is what you're doing. The movement speed as far as game mechanics goes remains the same for 30 foot for everyone, unless you're like somehow have a higher strength score and you push harder. Everybody generally moves about the same speed as they would normally on the ground. Except for failings, they move about the same speed as a human. Elam's are faster, and Fern is even faster because she actually has jet engines in her hand. Sort of. The opening is oblong in shape, and it is easy to see as you are coming upon it that there are 3 main tunnels in the opening, left, center, and to the right. You can also easily see that the one to the left that you're interested in has less activity than the one in the center, which is the largest of the 3, and the one to the right, which is the smallest of the 3. Drifting in that direction, making your long extended hops as you begin going in that way. From the watchtower off to the side, which seems to be more of maybe a resting spot or something, carts are attached there, and some more of these fat, weird, moth-looking critters are tied up. Someone will yell from that tower, "Oi! That one's abandoned and dangerous. Don't go in it," as you guys are tripsing or trouncing in that direction.
Thanks, we're gonna go in it anyways.
And of course, as he sits there and watches you guys drift away, turns to his friend who is sitting next to it. "I warned them. I warned them." Being all self-important.
Oh, goodness. So, when we get into the abandoned mine, we're still doing the same kind of moonwalk jumping, like the whole time?
There's a couple different ways you can travel. The mine has a thin grindstone walkway that they would use with in general speaking while they're going through. A lot of people don't use it. It's just there for the people who get weightless sickness from being around. They like to have 2 feet on the ground. But a lot of people, instead of doing the walking path, they will just pull themselves along the walls, staying close to the wall, pushing over it. Like how you do when you're in a swimming pool and you want to just move faster and you just push yourself along the edge of the pool, kind of that. But
you can, if you're skilled enough with a really high acrobatics, could get yourself positioned in the center of the cave. Because most of the walls are kind of like a light grindstone, you can kind of hover in the middle as long as you're swimming. You got to make a lot of effort at it, and it requires a lot of energy. So I don't know how you feel about building up a sweat right about now. But you'd be basically going toward the roof and then down toward the ground, back and forth, and it looks cool.
Well, so Kordrog, I will kind of take point on it because he doesn't want the captain to step in a trap or anything, and have his dagger in his teeth while he's pulling himself along the walls and ceiling and stuff, staying off the path because it's the obvious place to set up traps is on the path.
Okay, that's fine. The tunnel beyond the initial split, goes on for at least 2 to 220 yards in distance. So it's not short, it's long. Going down it, you get to a point where there is a waypoint that was dug out in the tunnel where there is another one of these tower-like constructions off to one side. It looks like it's abandoned from first glance. The doors are open, the hatches are open, the windows are open. There's no activities. And there's not a lot of dust here either. That's a very big sign that people have been through the area, is the amount of dust that you see floating around. And so you're getting to a place where it's dust-free. It's also light-free. So unless you have some sort of extra ability to see, you're heading into a very dark, dark place.
I'm going to cast light. And I'll cast light on my
my hands, I guess. On like the palm of it. I was trying to think of something else I have on me, but the only thing that I have on me is my hat, my spell book, and a jar of leeches.
You have a jar of leeches?
Don't remember where I got it, but it's in my inventory.
You were supposed to use the jar of leeches on the bats to make
a
a concoction to help Bassianus out. Did you ever get around to
I
doing
still have
that?
a jar of leeches because
Arthur did.
Yeah, because immediately, when he went to go to the bats, Arthur was like, you need to go talk to the captain, and Thomas was like, great, I'll go do that.
Then you probably gave the jar of leeches to Arthur, because he said...
I would imagine so. I just don't remember having that exchange. Like, I have it in my inventory, that's why I mentioned it.
Okay.
I can cast light on that, but I'll cast light on, like, the palm of my hands.
Those poor
so I'll,
leeches.
like, Iron Man it. No. I'll, like, Iron Man it.
Okay. Because otherwise in the Leech Society, it'd be like, Frank, you're glowing! Turn away! I can't see!
Well, my Inquisitor, when I had him cast light, I had him put it on his shield. It looked awesome. Or, is there any floating rocks nearby?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll cast light on a few of those, because then I can just chuck them, and they can just float along.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they float along for a great distance. They'll just keep going. And then slowly arc down to, like, the ground or the ceiling or a wall or something.
Wherever there's more grindstone.
So, yeah, you collect a couple of rocks, you cast light onto them. At Kordrog, you move forward, you're pulling yourself along. I imagine you're being stealthy.
Yes, and looking for traps.
Let's go ahead and get those dice rolls out of the way.
All right. It's perception for trap finding, or is it...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then you add in half your level of rogue.
Do I need to do anything with the captain? Average.
20.
Perception test? I'm sorry, I blinked.
No, you said you were casting a light spell, and that was pretty much all that you said you were doing, so...
I got
That's
a
fair.
22 for noticing traps, and 12 for being stealthy.
You're not
Good stuff.
actually touching the ground, so a 12 is probably got some bonuses. I'd give you like a plus 10, because you're not touching the ground, you're actually floating through the air. It's really hard to hear you. I'm also assuming you're not wearing bright colors either. Are you wearing any of your armor?
Yes, I would be wearing my armor.
All right, what color is your armor?
It is blackened chain.
See, so right there, even though you rolled a 12, you have other things that add to the 12. So we're gonna set your total stealth at like 24, because you're in the darkness, and so you're pulling yourself along, and then all of a sudden, a glowing chunk of rock flies by, taps the wall, and like just gets in your face. At first, you think it's a firefly, but then you realize it's just a glowing piece of rock.
You hear Thomas just go, sorry.
Wizards, man.
Can't see shit. What do you expect?
The captain also is not able to see in the dark, so Thomas's light is beneficial to him.
Excellent. That's good.
I was about to say something extremely cheesy, but I won't.
No, do. It's fun.
Thomas is his light. Come on.
I was
But
gonna
they're not
say
there
Kevin.
yet.
Yep, Bassianus has already been replaced.
Oh.
The relationship doesn't work like that.
All right,
That's
so
some fanfiction.
you get close enough to the tower. You realize that you are, because of this illumination from this flying stone, you are insolent. Because of the illumination from the stone, even though you're being quiet, if anything can see you, and a lot of the things in the void revolve around seeing and hearing. Sounds carry very well. You're now on the edge, looking around, being as perceptive as you possibly can. The tower itself has been abandoned. Nothing in this area indicates to you that it has been in use. But as you're drifting toward it, you see in the shadows of the entranceway what you can best feel is a person, and they are hiding in the shadows. And then as the light, the whole light thing stops, you look back. that person is no longer there in those shadows. And you have one of two ways you can think of this. You saw just a figment of your imagination, or there is someone hiding in the shadows, and you caught a glimpse of them, and then because of Thomas's action, they caught a glimpse of you.
Oh, man.
The real question is how paranoid is Kordrog?
I mean, relatively paranoid. I don't know, percentile, paranoia.
No, this is just
There's
a character
feat for that
thing.
or something.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
so, given that he's on a covert mission with the captain in an abandoned mine shaft, I would say pretty paranoid.
Yeah.
Like, higher than standard.
Right.
Oh man, I want to do like a tuck and like roll until like my feet are in the direction of a wall that I can push off of like really strongly to get to that location where I saw that person.
So you still want to start running. That's an acrobatics check, basically. You want to speed up to that location quietly as you can. Got it?
Yeah.
Thomas is, because I don't see him throwing these rocks willy-nilly. I think he'll, after he sees Kordrog pick up speed, he'll just kind of put, like, the rocks that he has in his, like, pocket or his jacket, so it blocks out light.
Okay, yeah. Whoops, I completely exposed one of my teammates. Bad me. Now he's acting weird.
Whoa!
Oh, dang.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You also exposed the bad guy. I got a 21 on my acrobatics roll.
All right, you hurdle yourself toward the opening.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like dagger out of my mouth in my hand and like lead with the point.
Are you heading for the door, the hatchway into the tower where you saw the person hiding, or are you trying to get somewhere near the hatchway?
I am headed straight for the hatchway.
So you're going in.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas.
Dagger point first.
Thomas
Yes?
and the captain both see Kordrog fling himself quickly into the tower in the passageway. With no word or warning, he enters. Kordrog, as you come flying in, there are the three pirates you saw from the bar. They see you in a panic, quickly readying their drawn weapons. They leap at you. Initiative.
What? Oh, dang.
I thought we were friends.
You
I
are
mean-
outnumbered.
Oh my gosh, I got a 1 on my initiative. Glad I got that out of the way.
Great. 14 on
Do I need to
mine.
write something down?
Yes, we should probably track this initiative.
Okay. One moment.
I need to like study this character sheet before every game so I can remember what the initiative score is.
I have to do that before any game I play because I have 3 games in one weekend.
Initiative.
Are they all on
There
one?
it is.
They are. They will all go at the same time.
Oh man, my initiative bonus is insane. Rolled a 1, but I still get a 9.
That's because you're an experienced warrior.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
feeling. You said what, John? Kordrog?
9.
9.
Kordrog.
Thomas?
14.
Baddies?
19.
Alright, let me figure out what his initiative is.
What, did the captain get his initiative?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm-
that's him right there.
Okay,
Oh.
cool. 17. Okay.
All right. Kordrog, you get to act first. This is the surprise round. You've succeeded in surprising them. You
Nice.
come in. You are in the midst of the three of them. They are shocked. They are in armor. They're wearing like boiled leather armor and gabsons, and they have scimitars and daggers. One of them has a heavy crossbow loaded, and so he's just looking at you, and he's like getting ready to raise it up. He was the man who was hiding in the shadows you saw. The other one they're immediately drawing their scimitars as they see, like, oh shit!
Can one of them just like slap the other one and be like, "I told you not to peek outside"? Like,
So, I would like to make a bluff.
Okay.
Okay. I'm so glad I found you guys. The captain is ready to hire you on the spot.
Oh
yes.
the resilient one that was not interested in a job. What was his name? Do we remember it?
Did you write it
Call him
down?
Bob.
Hey,
We
chat.
only remember things if we write them down.
Hey, chat. There are 3 guys that we've met before that are pirates. Name them, please.
And
Give us names.
While chat's working on that, I rolled almost as possibly high as I can, and got a 22 on my bluff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Daryl, and Jimmy.
I'm totally going with Daryl for the lead guy.
Okay.
That's like having a team of guys named Jeff, but their names
like
is spelled differently.
Daryl, and Darl.
Yeah.
All right, Kordrog, what was your bluff roll?
22.
Oh, damn.
One away from the highest I could possibly get.
Wow, that's awesome. So we're gonna go with Larry, Daryl, and Jimmy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
So
Thank
we're
you
gonna
so
do
much.
another Larry?
Yeah. Oh no! Wait. Ooh.
Let's do Curly
Let's do Curly,
and Daryl.
Daryl, and Connor.
Okay.
How's
Write
that
those
sound?
down.
I'm writing those down.
Thank you. As if it's not written down, it never happened.
Yeah, you gotta use the magic words.
And it's Daryl with 2 R's.
Bippity boppity
Yes.
boo. Alakazam.
And Connor. I like Connor.
Okay.
Avada
All
Kedavra.
right.
No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. We are going to use Daryl as the headstrong one, Curly as the longman, the long fisherman, the longman, and Connor was the younger of the 3 who seemed hesitant. So as you say that, Daryl will say, "Don't believe him. He's on to us." And he raises his crossbow to you.
Are you
Yeah, because he's
Oh,
pretty
man.
determined.
even after that epic
Can I
roll
sheathe
for-
my dagger as part of my bluff?
I feel like there should also be a
I'm not a
bonus
threat.
that one of them was actually like on
Two
board
of them
with the
were
idea.
arguing pretty
Yeah,
strong.
2 of them were like, "Oh, dude, that would be amazing."
Yeah,
And
no,
I'm sure they've been talking about it.
I'm pretty sure they have. And Daryl's probably had his fair share of listening to shit. Daryl's just a little bit more devoted to their wall-eyed fat captain than the rest of them.
Okay.
Is it wrong that I just imagine a walrus as the captain?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Okay, so because Daryl is unconvinced by my bluff, I'm going to face him and ready to attack him, hoping that Curly and Connor will back me up because they want better jobs.
There we go.
Maybe they'll mutiny against Daryl.
Teamwork makes the dream
Right.
work. Do it.
All right.
And-
Oh god, my wizard hat.
Oh, can I make an attack on Daryl?
No.
You
Your
Okay.
action is to bluff.
Okay,
Unless
good.
you have something that tells you your bluff can act as a part of an attack or a move action, that's all you get. Because your
Nope,
move
that's
action
it.
was to rush in.
Yep, that's it.
And no, you can't put your knife away, so you still have your knife out.
Good. I need it.
Daryl, of course, their initiative is the highest, so Daryl's statement is, "Don't believe him. They're here to lie. They know where they're on to us." Where Curly will, the longman, the older longman, will say, "I'm not ready to die for that fat slob." And he's going to draw his scimitar on Daryl. Connor, on the other hand, will step back and get completely out of the fight. "Guys, what are you doing?" And at this point in time, Daryl realizes what's going on, and he yells, "Mutinous bastard!" and he stabs Curly.
No!
Natural
Oh
20.
my gosh.
No!
But Daryl had the crossbow, so he shoots him.
So he shoots him with the crossbow.
Oh, no.
Oh gosh.
It's okay, at least it's not loaded now.
He stabs him with the crossbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a bayonet on his crossbow.
Oh my god, yes! That's amazing!
Do I need to pull that up, or are you good with the?
I'm good.
It's D10, right? Unless it's a
Oh,
light
this is
crossbow,
exciting.
then it's a
No, it's
D8.
not a light crossbow. It's a D. It's a heavy crossbow.
Okay, so it's like a D10
Yeah, the damage
times
is
2 or
I think that's what I got to look up real quick. If you just
I just want to know
Breathe.
things. I just want to
Breathe.
know them in
Should
my
be
head like
times
other
3.
people do.
I think it's a ×2 for a crit.
heavy
'Cause if you got a
crossbow.
natural
It's actually it's a
20.
D12 in this system, in my
Oh,
setup.
right, yep, you're right.
And it is ×2, so it's 2d12. He's got point blank, so it's 2d12 plus 2.
I get so proud of myself when I get
Oh.
the great Pathfinder. What?
Both of the d12s are 1s. So, and I need to,
It's a critical flesh wound.
it is a critical flesh wound. Because it's a piercing arrow, that means because it's a piercing weapon, that means it sticks into him. And
That's
I just
amazing.
imagine it sticks in his arm and he's like,
he has a level of
fuck,
rogue, so there's a
Daryl? Like-
d6 of sneak attack. 4. So that's 8 in total, and he's got more than enough hit points. So the crossbow bolt will lodge into Curly's head. He pivots it just enough to shoot the crossbow bolt into the side of Curly's head. It goes under the skin and along the skull, and so now he's got a
Oh.
crossbow bolt sticking out the front of his head. And Curly's face is just in complete shock, like,
You shot me, man.
I'm not dead. You just shot me. And so, as part of Daryl's action, he's going to let go his crossbow, make a move drawing his dagger, and as a secondary attack, try to stab the dwarf. He has a -5 on this attack. And his plus is 3, so he's a total of -2.
Ooh, does drawing a weapon provoke an attack of
No.
opportunity?
He gets an 8 to try to stab you.
No.
No. All right. Curly is going to renege on his actions this round. He was going to try to stab at Daryl, but now there's a crossbow bolt in his head, and he's, he's definitely shaking. He's like, I can't die. So
What about Connor? Which one does
Connor's-
Connor like more?
Connor likes both of them at the same time. He wants just everyone to be friends. So he's
oh,
confused,
that's me.
but he's going to use his full action to draw his scimitar and dagger out. So he's dual fighting. So he can stab like 2 people. All right, that moves on to Harris's turn.
Ooh. Harris heard Kordrog saying, so it's like, oh, I think we're needed. And so he kicks himself off of the wall and like speeds around towards the corner, taking out his pistol. And he's like just floating into the area, and he's gonna like try to assess the situation real quick and decide who he's going to shoot.
That you see Kordrog and 3 people. Mm-hmm. One dude has a dagger to Kordrog. Another dude has drawn a scimitar and a dagger and seems to be facing pretty much everyone. And then the last dude has a scimitar out, but he's not in a readied position as there's a crossbow bolt in his head.
Okay. And I recognize them.
You recognize them as the 3 fishermen
And
from
I recognize
the bar.
the grumpy one.
Yes, he has the knife to Kordrog.
Is the crossbow in front of him, like facing in a way that he would have been the one to let it go, or is
Yeah.
it okay?
Yeah, it's probably tethered to him by a line, so it's still near him.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot that guy.
Okay.
The captain will shoot him.
Whoa.
I don't know what bonuses.
There
we
is
do
no
for
range
the-
increment, and so it is. He's not proficient, so he takes a -2, so it's a +8.
Okay.
He's not making a called shot, but Kordrog gives him bonuses to protect being protected
Okay.
because he's got to shoot past Kordrog. Go ahead. That's a 19.
Yes.
That will definitely shoot a blast of ball past Kordrog and hit the dude. The musket that he's using does 2d6 plus 4.
Okay. I'm just gonna, because I don't like the different sizes.
That's fine. 9 points
9.
of damage.
Yeah. And then it's like a piercing bludgeoning thing.
It is a piercing bludgeoning thing, so it ignores part of his boiled leather, but not his gambenson. So he knocks off 3 of the points of damage, taking 6 himself. That's where the crit was just like in the head, and they have no armor on their heads. Poor guy. Yeah, so that's the captain's turn. And you hear that, and it's loud, and it echoes through the tunnel. All right. After
Great.
the captain's turn, it is now Thomas's turn.
I will make my way over.
And he basically just floats by. Because he didn't catch anything.
Oh, yeah, you didn't make an acrobatics roll. You just launched yourself, so it's like aimless. All right, that's cool.
What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, okay. So as I enter this little cubby hole, and I see the captain shooting this guy, I'm going to... He's not dead yet, is he?
You have no idea. There's a lot of smoke between you and him because of the captain's gun. Kordrog is definitely in the way. I mean...
God damn it, Kordrog. Well, he's tiny. I'm sorry, short. Short. Could I, like... So
Hating
could I,
on the
like,
dwarves.
see over his...
I am 4.5 feet tall.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah, somewhat. Did you want to, like, reach out and hit him with something?
Kordrog? No, I wanted to, because I need line of sight for magic missile, so...
No, you don't. Magic missiles find the target. If you can kind of see it, all you got to do is be like, hit that, and your magic missiles will zip in there and avoid obstacles to hit the target in question.
Sweet. Yeah, no, I
Do you want to
wanna...
target him, or do you want to target the knife in his hand? My magic missile, the magic missile for Shadow Dials, can target objects. So,
I want to target his dagger.
Okay.
Thomas isn't very much of
All
a
right.
violent.
how many missiles do you get?
From what I remember, it's I want to say 2.
All right, so roll the damage.
Yeah, for every 2 caster levels, but yeah, you get an additional magic whistle. So 2. I need a D4. Hold on. Getting my dice out. This is my D4. It's not a triangle. It's actually like a rectangle.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks, Dice Envy. Hashtag not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor us, please.
Yeah, we appreciate
Please.
it.
4!
Awesome.
So,
That's one
1d4
missile.
plus 1. And then 2.
So
3, 4, 7.
7 points of damage. Add the number 5.
12.
All right, that's what he's got to make with his. The CMD of the pirate is 14. So, unfortunately, you didn't do enough damage to blast the dagger out of his hand.
What if, because he didn't really know that I was going to show up.
I'll give you a +2. That'll make the dagger fly out of his hand.
Thank you.
All right, so you blast the dagger, and Kordrog, that's what you see at this point in time as you turn to ready him. 2 shots come from the doorway. One hits him, which staggers him a bit, and the other one knocks the knife from his hand. All
Can I
right.
say anything as like a free action?
Of course.
Yeah, I'll just, I want to be cool. The first thing that came to my mind was, stop this foolishness. We can talk this out.
That's so
You
cool.
just shot your friend in the eye.
Oh, right. That's what you say?
Yeah.
You sound so cool when you say it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Kordrog, your turn.
Ooh, good. Okay, I draw my dwarven maul-axe,
Oh, God.
and I both hammer and stab Daryl at the same time.
Okie dokie.
Okay, there we go.
And make a combined attack. I'm talking it out. Like my friend Thomas suggested.
Talking
I'm gonna kill Daryl and talk to Connor and Curly.
Hooray!
That's how that works, right?
Yes.
No!
Well, you know
That
what?
is a 23.
Yes.
Okay, so I get my D8 and I get my D6, and I roll them both together because I attack with both weapons. Wow, that is pitiful. 3 plus 8.
All right, now the weapon damage is attributed as the same, so, and they get both of the factors. So one's piercing and the other one's the axe.
So yeah, but the axe has a hammer end, and that's the end that I'm hitting
So
with.
it's blunt. Right.
Yeah, so it's bludgeoning for 5 points of damage,
Okay.
and piercing for 6.
Okay, so 1 plus your strength is what?
1 plus my strength is 5.
Okay, so all the bludgeoning damage gets through, and 2 of the piercing damage is able to get through his weak armor, his armor, the gamson, and the boiled leather. And so you're able to do another 6 points of damage to him with the damage done by the captain. Don't forget your sneak attack. Oh, no, he's not flat-footed. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
The 6 points of damage will definitely put him down. Out of his 13 hit points, he's taken 8 plus 5 is 13 plus another 2. So 15 points of damage. So he's bleeding out.
And I'll turn to Connor and say, won't you join us?
That sounded much more creepier than it needed to be.
Well, it's the baddie's turn, so I guess he gets to answer.
Curly will, as Daryl is curling over into a ball and slightly drifting up above the ground, because now you chopped into him and you stabbed up into his midsection. You pulled out, and so now he's drifting up away from the ground. You turn to Connor as his friend slowly drifting into his death throes and say that Connor is kind of like taken back. He's drifting. He's going to let go of his weapons. And as he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because I'm going to roll for his shock. Yeah, he's failed. He's in utter shock at this point in time. His friend's going to try to snap him out of it. And Curly goes, get the goddamn arrow out of my head, you fucking fool. I'm going to bleed to death over here. And
you'll be fine.
And Connor is just, he failed his will check, so Connor's out of it. Leave him alone, he'll yell. He's just a boy.
Okay, so, excellent. So Harris is going to catch himself on the wall and pull, and then like spring himself back into the area. I guess now he needs to do the acrobatics. So, success.
Excellent. You drift back over into the area of this watchtower.
Okay, I'm going to. I think that Captain Harris, seeing that the Daryl is out of commission, but the other man with the bolt in his head looks to be alive and conscious. Probably needs more assistance at this point. So I think that the captain would want to try to assist Curly in getting the bolt stuff going on. I feel like...
Does he have heal skill?
Well, let's see here. In the NPC class of the noble, they do not have a heal skill.
But is he willing to sacrifice what he's got right there to help this guy out?
Hi, Bella.
I mean, unless he can't like just stop the bleeding in general.
To stop bleeding, it is a heal check of a DC of 8 for somebody actively do it, and that person's consumed. To make a bandage that'll do it, it's a 12. Maybe Kordrog or Thomas might have the healing skill necessary. They're able hands.
Okay, then I'll be like, I think the captain, realizing that he is not proficient in medicine, be like, Thomas, Kordrog, assist me with this injured man. So he's like stopping Curly from floating around and getting him someplace like stable so they can, I don't know, either pull the bolt out or leave it in or do something.
Yeah,
somebody should know these things.
I don't have any heal skills or spells, but I will keep him still
until Kordrog the healer arrives.
I tried looking up healing spells just now too, and I can't find anything. So for some reason, I don't have any healing spells.
Yeah, you're like healing magic.
Healing magic.
Yeah, I learned how to cast a fireball at people, not a healing spell.
You can cauterize.
There's a flashback to the days in college. Oh, look, we can sign up for healing magic classes. Who does that?
I think it's more of like Thomas was like, oh, that sounds useful, and his father's like, no, son, you will cast evocation and other things.
I didn't raise you to be a doctor.
Exactly.
You to be a wizard.
You're a baron. You will learn how to be a powerful wizard. And just Thomas. Just like, no. I want it to be so nice.
All right.
I don't want to set things on fire. Like,
So the captain and Thomas are holding Curly
Curly.
Yeah.
steady as you approach Kordrog. What do you do to assist?
please. Please
I
roll
say
good.
now there. We'll have this patched up in no time.
Pat his head. Now, son.
As I grasp the fletching of the crossbow bolt. Wait, I'm gonna check. It's not a barbed bolt, right?
No,
No,
it's most crossbow bolts aren't. And when you were looking at the tip of it, you didn't see a barb. You make a
Okay,
heal
good.
check.
That's
Yep.
a thing? That's amazing.
Barb?
That
Sorry,
can either
I
be
rolled a-
bad or...
I rolled a
What?
1, so I got a 5.
You are not able to do this. Head wounds like this require a professional. You are more than capable of realizing that. But you do feel lucky.
Oh yeah, you do. You're.
I have a question.
Wait, why do I
Rather-
feel lucky?
You remember you got healed up real awesome by the doctor?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm still up on that, aren't I?
Yes, you're.
So you could risk ripping this arrow out of this dude's head. Or you
Yeah.
can send him along his way
I think...
to somebody who's more than capable.
How hard is he bleeding? Like, is he bleeding out?
Well, you haven't removed the bolt yet, so.
If you remove the bolt, he will gain a bleed of 1.
Yeah, I feel like that's just common knowledge
Yeah.
of anybody who's been stabbed or anything in their entire life.
Yep.
Can Thomas, as Kordrog is, I'm guess, gripping this bolt, Thomas was just going, yeah. Why don't we just wait for the ship? Because it's going to be right there, and then the doctor can heal him. You pull that out, like any dagger wound, you pull that out and it'll gush.
I don't know, Curly. Are you on the crew?
I'll join. I'll sign. Take me. Don't rip it out. Leave it. I'll take whatever doctor you have. It can't be that bad.
Wow.
Oh, it's something you can't imagine. And I'll look at the captain. What do you say, sir?
Welcome aboard.
I'll slap him on the shoulder. I'll go check your friend's pants or something.
Oh my god.
And on that note, we are going to take our 10-minute break.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break.
And we will be back for more adventures. Going through the abandoned mine. Excellent. Okay, be back in 10.